In the previous videos, I went over 5 of the biggest mistakes made by either Oldsmobile's executives or the GM Corporation, and 5 potential opportunities that they could have taken but didn't. If you haven't seen those 2 videos, I highly recommend watching them first, because then the content of this video will make a lot more sense. This video will imagine what Oldsmobile's vehicle lineup might have looked like if they'd taken those opportunities and not made those mistakes. The next bit will look at how different the 2000 model year lineup could have looked with the changes I mentioned. Obviously this is purely speculative, more or less educated guesswork. I worked with the actual 2000 lineup, made a few tweaks, and added the Holden-based vehicles. I also decided to reintroduce the International Series label for the highest trim levels. So without further ado, let's get started. Personally, I would have loved to see those Holden-based models, as well as a supercharged Bravada. The important question to ask now is, what if these revisions had saved Oldsmobile? In other words, what if GM really had changed their minds? The next part will imagine the lineup for 2005 had Oldsmobile been allowed to stay alive. We might have been able to see an Oldsmobile cousin to the G6 GTP and Malibu SS in the next generation Alero, maybe even with a 6-speed manual like the Pontiac. We could have seen a modern V8-powered 442 sharing a platform with the Buick Allure Super, the Pontiac Grand Prix GXP, and the Chevy Impala SS. The Bravada would have gained a V8, and the Buick Rainier and Terraza, and maybe even the Saturn Relay, would probably never have existed, since they were introduced mainly to replace the discontinued Bravada and Silhouette anyway. What about the rest of the lineup? Well, there's even less real foundation to work with, so I had to get a lot more creative. For example, there weren't any definite designs for the next generation of Alero, Intrigue and Aurora, so I had to use some of Oldsmobile's concept cars for the pictures. Also, the brand's direction was going further upmarket to become GM's proper import-inspired sport luxury division. Plus, the 88 and 98 lines would have been merged sooner or later, since Oldsmobile had been planning to do that. So those factors are reflected in my concept lineup. Okay, enough with the blurb, let's get into it. Whether the lineup would have looked like that or not, we'll never know. In any case, the next question would be, how much longer would Oldsmobile have lasted? Realistically, it probably wouldn't have survived GM's reorganisation. After all, even Pontiac didn't make it. However, in my opinion, that still would have been better than the reality. That way, at least fans like me would have been able to blame a global catastrophe rather than incompetent management. Plus, the brand would have been able to turn 110 in 2007. Even if Oldsmobile had been cancelled in 2010 rather than 2004, at least the brand could have gone out with a bang instead of a whimper, and its demise would have been quicker. It's quite a tragedy that the world's biggest car company at the time killed off one of the world's oldest and most innovative brand names, just so they could put more money into grandma cars, Chevy clones, and one-hit wonders. Well, that brings this video series to a conclusion. Thank you very much for making it this far. The script alone took over 57 hours to write, so I really appreciate everyone who watched to the end. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.